Hi everyone, UK Girl in SF here. It's September the 11th today, and that means it's the 15th anniversary of the attacks on the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon. And for anyone that witnessed it, the attacks either in New York City or on TV, it's a sight that will never leave us. That day was a terrible day in America's history, one of the worst tragedies ever to hit the country. And as a result of that, everyone's lives was changed, including people around the world. The world has never been the same since. There have been a lot of changes, some good, some bad, but I will leave that debate for another time. But I just wanted to pay my own tribute to those victims that died on 9/11. Most of them were American, but there were at least 500 people, I believe, that were from other countries, about 30 other countries that lost citizens that day, victims as well of the terrible tragedy. Now, about 6 months ago, a friend of mine said to me, why don't you read some of your poetry on your YouTube channel? And he's read a lot of my poetry, so he thought that would be a good idea. But I didn't, because I think poetry is very subjective, and what you might like, somebody else won't. But then as the 9/11 anniversary approached, I thought, well, that's the same for every medium, be it TV, film, magazines, books, lyrics, poetry. You might connect with it, you might not. So I decided then that yes, I would read my poem that I wrote about the events of 9/11. Now, I write a lot about world events, how they affect me, what I thought. But sometimes I don't write about them for years later. And this is one of those instances. I was lying in bed one night and suddenly a phrase popped into my mind. And I got up and I wrote this poem in about 10 minutes. And it's my thoughts of that day, 6 years on. I wrote it on the 19th of November 2007. So this is my tribute to all those that died, and to let you know that your loved ones that you lost, they will never be forgotten by you, but they will also never be forgotten by people like me and others that were horrified on that day about what happened. And I really don't think we should ever forget, if for no other reason that we hope it never happens again. So this is my poem, and I called it Fractured. A thing of beauty to some, an eyesore to others, towering above all others on an island, discovered by you and I, then and now. A symbol of wealth, greatness, and generations of know-how. Like sentries they brave the elements, cold on the outside, yet possessing a warmth of beehive activity within, an ordinary day in ordinary lives, soon to be turned upside down. With stealth and quickness they arrived, their destination an accident, or so we thought. But their second coming announced who they were. By then, no introductions were needed. From near and afar we watched in horror up high, at falling bodies like confetti from the sky, their fall as loud as the silent prayers we murmured from disbelieving lips. The smoke and fires were the worst we thought, until the thing of beauty and an eyesore to others began to shake and cry out, a terrifying death roar heard. Grand dreams and schemes in ordinary life took flight into nothingness, extinguished by strife, an intrusion upon the very fabric of our core, torn apart with shock, horror, and an anger so raw. So deep it was hard to give voice to what we saw, which changed the landscape of land, hearts, and minds forever. Warnings of their arrival had not been heeded, and now we were paying the price. How do you give voice to what was our generation's day of infamy, events that have changed us forever? Days of uncertainty are now constant companions in ordinary lives, no longer living ordinary days. So whether you liked this or not, this is just my way of paying tribute to those that died. May they rest in peace. This is UK Girl in SF, sounding out and signing off.